Now we'll be going through the second half of part 2, which is transitioning from your faith story into the decision cards. On the second page of your part 2 instructions, there's in the third Roman numeral is a transition statement. You'll want to make this transition statement very quickly. You'll want to practice this. This happens right after you finish telling your story. Don't let a beat pass. Just immediately say this, something like this. And this card is a summary of what happens to me. It's a few sentences from the Bible written almost 2,000 years ago. And the card that you're referring to is this Paul of Tarsus card. This is Ephesians 2, 3 through 9, and it is basically a summary of the gospel. It's a summary of what has happened to you, and you can definitely use this card and dialogue over this card to help a person see that it's by grace that you're saved, that it's through faith in Jesus and not of ourselves and our own works. And right when you're done with reading and talking through that card, you can ask a person what they think. Again, this is not time to be sharing with them more about what you think, but now getting their thoughts on everything that you've now just shared from your faith story and from these verses from the Bible. So you could ask them, have you ever heard about how faith in Jesus is a way to have a real relationship with God? What do you think about that? Do you believe that's possible? And you can look through the other questions on the card too. Would you like to know God personally? If a person wants to know God personally, if they seem to have an interest, if they communicate that, then you have 2 next step cards. And this basically, these 2 cards replace the 2 circles that you would see in the 4 spiritual laws. That a person would be able to sit down and meditate over these 2 prayers. One, a prayer for skeptics, another, a prayer to believe and put their faith in Jesus Christ. And you can allow them to think about that and to figure out what their next step might be. And you can even let them have that card that they can think about it later or pray through the card, the skeptic's card, or the card, the prayer to believe later on. If a person isn't interested and they don't want to pursue knowing Jesus or knowing God personally, you can just ask them about what keeps them from wanting to know God personally, or the last question there, what keeps you from wanting to trust Jesus and follow Him? And just you can use the cards from the questionnaire to continue your dialogue and discussion. You could even use the cards that we're going to talk about in our next video, the continue the conversation cards.